Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome to the community. Let's keep growing. Let's keep learning from each other. And I promise you, I would always bring you new experiences that you can learn from. So today I will be talking about my work experiences in the UK. I have been working now, it's a year plus, and I've worked here before. And that was like 2011, 2012. It was for a brief time, 6 months. But I can tell you, having worked here now for a longer time, I can tell there is a huge difference working in Nigeria and working here in the UK. And if you want to make a success out of your career here in the UK, please watch this to the end so that you can learn how best to grow your career or how best to navigate this terrain to ensure that you're adding value and you're also being recognized for the work that you do. So stay with me. I need to grab my talking points and my glasses. You know, it's really getting blurry even with the glasses, but I have already ordered another one. So you would be seeing, even though it's not really looking tapped like this one, but it's okay. I think at this point, I just want to see. Okay, so I have worked with multinational companies back in Nigeria, you know, and it's always a very good experience. And you are exposed to how different environment, different culture, how they work, but it is different if you're based in Nigeria. I remember at a time when I had to go for a training in Netherlands. And I was and it was an open space, you know. It was a training, but I was also, you know, working in the office, meeting some people and all that. And I realized that it's a different ball game entirely. So there was this particular day, you know, someone was talking and I could barely hear what he was saying. It was like it was whispering. I figured out later that that's about how they talk, you know, and you know us, Niger, we are loud. You know, everything is loud about us. So anyways, and I was talking to my friend and my friend said, that's how they talk here. Like they are almost like whispering. And he said at a time, he took a call on the, you know, floor and somebody said something nasty about, you know, you cannot be creating a scene or, you know, making, you know, something derogatory. Basically, I think that there are different, you know, styles of working and you have to understand it. And I'll tell you my own experience. So in Nigeria, we have that culture of working hard, insane, you know, working style. For example, you go to the office, you know, work, close, and then you get into your car on your way home. If you're not the one driving, your laptop is still open, you're still responding to emails. You get home, you know, grab something to eat, you're back to your system, still responding to emails. There are deliverables, it has to be done, somebody has to do it, and that person happens to be you, and then you have to do it. I know back in Nigeria, I have sort of normalized this way of working. And I count it as, oh, I'm working hard. You know, something needs to be done, deliverables. And we used to have some crazy deadlines that you would wonder, who is setting all these deadlines? You know, who is, and again, we often compare ourselves to other countries where the system sort of works, technology works for them. So we would say, oh, we're closing the books day 3, day 2, you know, and they put everyone, and I'm talking finance now, and it puts everyone under pressure, and then you're working around the clock. I know my friend and I, we used to joke at that time that it cannot be normal. You know, we've just normalized it, but we know within ourselves it's not normal. I remember during COVID, we were having we were having this budget. It happened to be our budget period. And I had an home office, so I was in the office and I was just, you know, having meetings. We were having meetings at about 10:30, 11. My husband was in the room. At some point, he came to meet me and he said, you have to lower your voice, you know, because you are just calling 1 million euro, 2 million euro. You want somebody to come here and they will think we have the money. They will beat us blue black. This is all deal money. You know, we just sort of normalized it. One thing it helped with is our work culture. Naija, we can work. And you see, when we work, it's like our lives depend on it. So I always, anywhere I see us, I know that no, this person is grinding. But it also has a flip side, which is on our health. Because our health, our relationships, every other thing suffers. The only thing is the work. I think one thing I have learned here is that even before I came here, you know, some of my friends will tell me, this is a crazy work that you're working here. There is no work in the UK. Don't come and stress yourself. That things are just easy. You do what you're required to do. Then you go home to your family. But I tell you that I didn't find this so. And I'll tell you, I still feel like I still have to, you know, my boss is telling me something and they're saying, oh, this will be in like 2 weeks, you know, we probably would have to submit this in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, this work that I will submit today, you know, this one that I will do today. The difference is largely the environment, but if you still consider the person, the work is still the same. So I will tell you, yes, it is true. I was talking to a very good friend of mine who has been here longer than myself, and she said, Debola, we are the problem. It's not this environment. People here don't take things too seriously. They do the job and they move on. They move on to other things. Some are going skiing, some are there. People are work-life balance is here. We are the problem, and I agree. And this is why I wanted to share in this video that we have to be careful also how we bring our culture, what we've been used to into this environment, because you can come here and still find yourself still stressed, and that will be the problem of the environment here, or the work culture here, or the working environment here. It is us. So I am learning now to soft pedal, to say, you know what, everything doesn't have to go immediately. Everything still has to be done. It has to be quality work, excellent work, you know. But everything, I stick with the deadlines. And I think that with that, I'm also trying to, anyways, I've already established, and I think that's also a good thing. I've already established in the organization that I am ready to roll my sleeves at any point in time. I meet deadlines and all that. But I also want to be able to cut myself some slack to say, this environment doesn't fancy working like a crazy jack. This environment gives you that allowance, you know, to be yourself. If you have a hobby, pursue it. If you have a, you know, sometimes when I'm talking to my boss about, you know, YouTube and all that, and I'm like, you know, if this were back home, I wouldn't even, where is the time? Where is the time? The time is not there. The pressure is there. So I think my point is on this one, that's one major difference that I have seen. There is that work-life balance if you really crave it here. And if you are not finding it, it is not the environment here, it is you, which I have realized that some of us are just, we've been programmed to work around the clock. Like your mind cannot just fathom that you have an undone job and then you go to sleep, you know. But one thing is, nobody's going to hold you to it. In as much as you've done your 8 hours, that's it. You know, that's one of the major, you know, differences I have found. The second one I put here is that, you know, there are things that we do back home. For example, you're sending emails and you're saying, dear, you know, dear, you know, and it's just courtesy for us, you know, dear Yinka, dear all, dear, you know, Rose, dear whatever. I got into my workplace and I continued my dear, dear, dear. And I realized everybody's just going straight to hi, you know. Now, you know, the dear way they look for, you know, say, oh, dear. Even though I've not been able to bring myself to stop using it, but it's not something that is common here. And it's something that nobody has a problem with. You can go direct and say, hi, Debola, you know, it's fine. But you say back home in Nigeria, if I don't use there for you, you have pissed me off. You have pissed me off. Oh. You're stressing me. Then I just go hi. But the default is that we say there because we believe it is courtesy. But if somebody uses hi, go straight to the point, don't take it so hard. That's how we roll here. It's not that deep, And sometimes also they come to you very direct. Some of them would say, "Oh, good morning," and some of them would just go straight. They are not even checking anything. Whether you slept well, you did not sleep well, you had a good weekend, you don't have a good weekend. It doesn't matter. They don't do it. Some, I know my boss tries to do it. I know a couple of people too will do it. How are you? And all that. But if they don't do it, it's not a biggie. I know we are so fixated on things like courtesy. Oh no, I used to be, you cannot want something from me. When I was back home in Nigeria, you cannot want something from me or you need me to sign something. And then you go, no courtesy, nothing. I'll leave it there. I'll just leave it there. I used to complain to one particular colleague of mine. I just thought she was, kind of crude. No, she goes, "Can you send me and I'm like, ah. And then I told her at a point, I said, "See, you are meeting me first thing in the morning. It should be good morning. That's how we were taught. You have to say good morning. We were taught courtesy." So I used to complain about it. I'm sure if she watches this video, she would say, finally, Debola has let go of all the, but I used to be like that. It is a nice to have. I've come to realize it feels good, and I still do. I don't think I can ever stop doing it because I believe it is courtesy. That's the first. Even if you say hi, I still go back to say dear if I want to, but I'm learning to say that it's not that serious. And I am going with good morning. How was your weekend? Because again, you connect faster, better. That's me, my opinion. You connect faster, better with someone when you're kind of a little bit informal with the person rather than just going straight to what you need. So they don't take those things seriously. And I always don't want to forget that, it's not about you, it's just about the job. Another thing I've realized is people work at their pace. And I am telling you, and I'm telling you who I used to be. When there is something to be done, and that's the way I related even with my direct reports as well. There is something that needs to be done. It has to be done fast. It has to be done quick, and it has to be done excellently. So I have always been that person that once I am sending it, I am telling you when I need it, the timelines, so that we are all clear. And if you cannot meet that timeline, please come back and just say, "No, Debola, this timeline is too right. I cannot meet it." And then we align on the timing that works for both of us. However, I have learned, and the same thing I do also if I am taking a task from my boss, I'm asking, when do you need this? Because I am working on XXX. If this is urgent, I would pack XXX and then fix this one first for you. I do that a lot so that I can manage expectations as well. You see here, something is urgent. We all know it's urgent. For example, we have a report that we used to send, that we needed to send, clear timing and all that. You might follow up with someone 3-4 times before you get it. And then each time you're nice. Because they will just do it at their own pace. I remember someone was telling me, "Oh no, that one didn't sit well with me." I took on an additional role, and I was already, I was already on fire. We need to do this, we need to do that. She just basically told me what a grade level is. That auntie, I'm not your money. I'm not at that your management level. I'm not at your level. Please, give me JJ. That was really funny to me because, not funny, annoying. He said, I don't know if you know, but And then she told me I agreed. And I think for me, it's just basically, she's just telling me, don't give me all this work that, that you want to be giving me. You just, I do administrative and all those kind of work. And if it gets a little bit, strategic, a little bit, counts me out. But for us, we would always see that as an opportunity, because the more you take on, the more you are positioning yourself to say, you know what, I am ready to do this. And I also learned that you cannot, everybody has their own career path. Some people, they are not trying to grow. There's no ladder they are climbing, no career ladder. They are not even interested. They just want to be able to, contribute something to the organization, get paid, and they are fine. Those things that we would say as, oh, you're not ambitious enough. No, they're not struggling. And we have to also understand that. And because you're dealing with people with different levels of aspiration, you have to understand that whatever it is that is burning your own body, get it done, get it done, get it done. You may not be impacting them in the same way. And you have to also understand that your timeline or your pressure point is not their timeline, it's not their pressure point. So you have to, oh, there, can you please? And that I had to adjust. I really had to, and not to say that it is just normal, it's just expected. Back home in Nigeria, you are clear with the timelines, everybody just we just fall in line. If you are bringing that energy here, think twice. That energy doesn't work here. Because, and you see, once it is 5, closing time. It's closing time. Very few people, I like my boss. And I think that's why we sort of connect very well. My boss works hard, and I sort of because I cannot imagine with my energy working with somebody that is draggy and all. No, I would be tired. I would just be bored, So my boss, sometimes I still see him online 6 o'clock, working, and the following day is giving you, gist and all that about what's next, what do we need to do, how do we present our case and all that. Very few people like that, but majority, they are off, they are out, and you cannot stress them. So if you're bringing your fire energy, when you get here, just relax. A friend of mine said in our place of work, the other Nigerians there came to her at a time and said, relax now. How's this? Your energy is too much. The energy you are bringing on board is just too much. And then you're making the rest of us feel like, But I know her. We were trained like that, But we have to pipe down. Don't bring that energy here. Don't bring that, I won't say don't bring the energy, but I would just say watch it so that you don't come off as, overzealous, or what's it, or, you cannot do that. Then the other one I was going to say is the opposite, which is that you cannot be laid back. There are some things. I remember in one of the places I worked in Nigeria, I would walk into, before getting to my office, I would pass the open floor and I would see, in fact, there was this particular person. He would be watching Netflix in the office. A different department would be watching Netflix in the office. And there was a time I was mentioning it to someone. I said, does this? And then I was new, not only watching and reacting. Oh, hey, all those. Oh no! And I'm like, I said, is this not supposed to be, this is breach of something. It has to be. This is not the normal. You can get away with things like that back home if you're that kind of person. Here, don't be caught. You see, they see it as you are cheating the system. You're supposed to do something. You have to do it. You have to deliver. I remember at a time we had problems with people working from home in Nigeria where somebody said she called and she was hearing like there was a party. And it cannot be here. So you have deliverables. You have to deliver. And you see, if you work in a private organization, honestly, I don't think you would even last there. But if you work in a public organization where it is sometimes, the job security is there and all that, maybe you can continue to hide, pretend like you're working when you're not working. Maybe you can get away with it, maybe, but it is totally not advisable, because again, you want a situation, if you're planning to build a career here, unless you don't want to, you would need recommendations. You would need somebody to, especially when you see a role that is a higher level and you apply for that role. What would somebody has to put in a voice for you. What would they say? What would they say about you? Is it that, oh, this person is solid on the job? Or is it that, well, I cannot tell much. Whether he's there or not, I don't know. I don't feel the impact that is there. So you have to watch that. Those things don't, go away if you're working in the UK. I think what I have next is something that I like so much. Weekend here is weekend. Yeah. Weekend here is weekend. Public holiday is public holiday. And I really like this one. I like it so much because there was a job I had, and I don't like mentioning the company, but I had a job at a point that I work Saturday morning, even though it's from home, but that call has to happen. And it is not a call that I just go in, sit down, I coordinate, basically asking, we said we will do this, what have we done, what's happening in this factory, so I am basically, and for that role, I was reporting into the MD for that role. Well, not reporting, but anything that has to do with that job was into the MD. So the MD would always be at that meeting Saturday morning. The deputy MD, top executives would be there. Who am I? Not to say, and it was a good job, because it made me understand the business very well. But even at that, it was on a Saturday. And we have it again on Sunday. Honestly, it felt normal. When I started, it didn't feel normal. Later, it just felt normal, like, yeah, it has to be done. Somebody has to do it. And when I got here, and I realized that, this is like you having your weekend to yourself. Because you see, sometimes having meetings in the morning of a day may basically impact the entire day. Like you cannot even plan. Even the same thing on a Sunday. You cannot even say I'm sleeping in. No, that 9 o'clock, we used to have it 9 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock on weekends, 9 o'clock on weekdays. You cannot plan your day. Once you cannot sleep extra, you cannot, anyways. So it just has a way of messing up with your schedule over the weekend. So you see, this one, once I am shutting down on Friday, I may shut down late. It's possible sometimes, and nobody is asking me. It is my oversabi. But on Friday, on Saturday, I'm not logging in. You log in. I'm basically not even there. The same thing for Sunday, the same thing for public holiday, and you never feel guilty about it. In fact, there was a day I was supposed to have a meeting on Monday, and I just felt I am not very clear the direction that meeting would take. Let me check on a Sunday afternoon just to be clear about that meeting and all that. I got to my laptop and I was going to put my password. I said, you know what? I'll do it tomorrow morning. I ain't doing nothing today, because I don't want to start what I cannot finish. That part, I'm touching this microphone. I realized that I like touching my chest. That part I really like. I really, really like the part that, you have your weekends, you have your public holidays, nobody's expecting anything from you, and you're not even feeling guilty that some things are not done that should be done, and then you just have to use your weekend to do it. So I think overall the experiences have been good, and I know that, and I've heard that, some people work, especially for those that, for me, I work primarily from home. Sometimes we have meetings across. I I think the good part is I'm also still able to coordinate things. For example, school runs, and any day I decide to go to the office. For example, if I'm going to have long meetings, then I would go into the office because I would want to have, full attention or no distractions and all that. But those days, then my hobby does school runs with the kids and all that. And you see, the funny thing here is you cannot, well, you can if you want to, but there are things that involves your child that you cannot outsource. You have to be present. And I think that makes me feel good because now I am practically more into their business, and not like I used to be away or apart from them, but now is a lot better. So you can work and you can also still pay particular attention to the things you need to pay attention to at home. So I know that not everybody has the luxury of working from home, so it may be a little bit, the story can be a bit different from mine, but maybe I go into the office maybe 4 times in a month and nobody is even, it's not compulsory, it's largely me wanting to just have that space where I can work with no distractions. So my experience so far has been good, has been different, really different, but it has been good. And what I like to say, especially for those that really want to grow a career here, you have to strike a good balance between, working hard, showing up, volunteering, being that employee that is always giving value and always wanting to do more. Strike a balance with also taking care of yourself, your mental wellness, your health, your family, your relationship, your connections. This environment gives you that opportunity and you have to take it. It's something you have to take. I was ill at a time and I went into accident and emergency. And when I met with the doctor, he said, after saying everything, he said, are you Nigerian? He said, yes. He said, yeah. Very typical. That we walk until it gets to a point where we cannot walk anymore. We ignore all the symptoms. We ignore all the signs. We ignore. And then when we get to a point where we can no longer function, that's where we go to the hospital. Even though I defended myself that I am not like that, because that's just for another day. I am not like that. I've always been mindful. It was something I never knew I had and all that. That's something else. That's something for another day. But I picked that because I know a lot of us work hard, especially people that work hours and shifts and all that. But we have to be mindful that this environment allows us to relax, be there for our people and also take care of ourselves. And when I talk to some people, what I hear back is, the bills are there, the bills are there. The bills will always be there. It's now a function of, do you want to live, or do you want to die? So we have to take care of ourselves, take time out to, leverage the system that naturally allows us to thrive in other areas, not just about, the work. So yeah, I thought I should share my experience, and I hope that this video is both informative and insightful. And yeah, if you're here in the UK, shout out, how has it been for you? If you like my gist today, like and subscribe, and I will always bring you beautiful experiences about, how I'm making money, how I'm growing my career, how I am running this YouTube, how I am parenting my kids, how, let's just learn, we have the experiences, why not share? All right, thank you. Thank you for watching to the end. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to my channel, and you'll never know. Thank you.